No, I'm not fucking cool with this.
Bakugo dropped his hiking pack on his living room floor with a loud thud. Kirishima had just told him the day before they were leaving that the firefighter was coming along. For years they'd done this by themselves. None of the other idiots had joined. It was like an unspoken rule that was just them. Then someone Kirishima had met a couple months ago was suddenly invited and going on this trip with them. It's not like he would have minded if Raccoon Eyes or the others wanted to join. Sure, he would complain, but at least he fucking knew them.
Please, bro? I need to make it up to them. It's my fault for not checking the magazine before they published it. Now they're being forced to not work because the paparazzi won't leave them alone.
Kirishima bowed with his hands pressed together above his head, pleading with Bakugo.
How does your fucking guilt involve me in our hiking trip? The fuck, Kirishima?
Kirishima knelt and held onto Bakugo's leg as the angry blonde tried to leave.
Please, 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 bro! Can you do this for me?
Bakugo struggled to push his pathetic friend off of him.
What is the matter with you? Losing your fucking mind like fucking dunce face? What happened to just buying them dinner and calling it good? I swear you're just using all this repayment stuff as a fucking excuse now.
He sighed and sat on his couch, regretting the life choices that had led him up to this point. The redhead had the audacity to look at him with purely innocent confusion.
For what? To have a fucking reason to see him, you absolute moron. Did that fire burn off your last remaining brain cells? Fucking Christ.
Bakugo grounded the palm of his hands into his eyes, groaning at how painfully oblivious his friend was.
God, you don't even notice you're doing it, do you? Fine. But only to show how much of a fucking idiot you are. Losing your shit over a goddamn firefighter.
Kirishima launched himself onto the couch next to Bakugo, throwing an arm around him for a side hug.
Yes! Oh, thanks, Bakubro!
Bakugo grumbled as he watched Kirishima pull out his phone, assumingly texting you. The redhead had a stupid, goofy smile on his face as he typed out at least 15 emojis. God, he was a fucking oblivious idiot. You ran up to Kirishima, who was waving you down by the train station. Hi, Kirishima! Ground Zero! A gloved hand slammed over your mouth, and red eyes leaned over you, glaring.
Shut up with the hero names, dumbass. We're going off the grid, remember?
You huffed as you narrowed your eyes at him. It was 4:30 a.m. No one was around to even hear you.
This is what happens when crazy fans are around. Fucking ow! Son of a...
You smugly walked into the station with Kirishima after biting Ground Zero's hand as hard as you could. He was now cradling it and taking off his glove to check the damage. Huh, that's what he got. As you were walking, the weight of your bag was suddenly lifted from your shoulders. Kirishima had grabbed a hold of your overstuffed hiking pack and thrown it over his shoulder along with his. How strong was this guy?
Bakubro was right though. Best to stick to our names and call him Bakugo.
Kirishima handed you a ticket for the bullet train. He'd paid for you?
They don't call me anything after that. They're not allowed to talk to me or come anywhere near me.
Bakugo shouted, holding up his hand to Kirishima. He purposely walked on the other side of Kirishima, making sure that there was something that separated between the both of you. What? Afraid? I don't bite that hard.
Yes, you fucking do.
Baby. You leaned forward, looking around Kirishima to stick your tongue out at Bakugo. He glared down at you and flipped you off.
Fucking rabbit mutt.
This is going to be fun.
Fun ended up being you and Kirishima playing multiple rounds of cards, and Bakugo sitting a few seats away, headphones on full volume with a small pout. Okay, so biting one of the people you will be camping in the woods with was probably not the best idea. The three of you got off the train in Yamanashi and made your way to the Kuan campgrounds. Mount Fuji could be seen in the distance. Bakugo and Kirishima showed their hero IDs and just walked right in. You trailed behind them, eyes wandering around to the cabins and few tents set up by the lake, Mount Fuji reflected in the peaceful waters. Some areas of the lake were still frozen over, slowly melting away. You unconsciously slowed your pace as you tried to take in the magnificent view.
Hurry your ass up.
Bakugo shouted, barely giving you a glance over his shoulder. Kirishima flashed you a toothy smile as he grabbed your arm.
We've got a lot of ground to cover, and we want to make sure we get there with enough daylight to set everything up.
You looked at the small map on the brochure you'd taken from the front gate. The edge of the tent camping area was coming up soon. Aren't we going to set up over by the lake with a fire pit?
Hell no. Not with all those fucking extras. We have a much better place. Now shut up and follow us.
You sighed at the blonde's attitude. He really was just like how he was on TV. Kirishima patted you on the back before gently grabbing your wrist.
Don't worry, it's not that bad of a hike. We do some mountain climbing where we set up, but we don't have to climb to get to the spot.
You walked along with Kirishima, smiling up at him. At least he was here to keep everything light. How did you guys even find some super secret spot in the woods anyways?
Funny story. We were out on the lake. I think it was the second time here, and we thought it would be a good idea to see if we could move using Bakugo's explosions and use my quirk to keep us attached to the boat and steer. It worked. We were having the time of our lives zooming around the lake till...
Kirishima chuckled as he helped you step up over a fallen tree. It didn't seem like that Bakugo was listening, but he shouted from in front before climbing over some rocks.
Some dumbass rode out in front of us.
Kirishima lifted you up and Bakugo pulled you onto the ledge, the two of them effortlessly working together to help you, not missing a beat in telling their story.
We probably would have been able to go around them, but we panicked and decided to go over them. Next thing I knew, we were flying through the air at max speed towards the shore. We hit the ground hard, but our boat kept going. Went through so many bushes. Broke a lot of low branches, too. The boat ended up stopping thanks to a fallen tree, but we were catapulted out of the boat and thrown into a pile of thorns. Just to put the cherry on top.
The three of you kept walking through the forest.
I have the fucking scars on my back to prove it. Asshat here made it without a single scratch.
Kirishima held up his arms, showing off his quirk with a wink. Bakugo gave him a punch, making Kirishima and you laugh.
It took us a while to get the boat dislodged from the tree, and even longer to get it back to the lake. We had to take a break in a clearing once the lake was visible again. We were so tired. We just kinda laid there. That's when we noticed the area. It was completely silent. No one around. It was like we were in the middle of nowhere. We usually go to the more secluded areas to camp in the summer for longer periods of time. But, Ubaka bro here hates the cold.
Shut up.
Bakugo held up a branch for you. but let go of it to slingshot back into Kirishima's chest. The path became clearer and easier to walk.
Anyways, we sat there for a while, till it was starting to get dark. We went back down to the lake and to our campsite, where all the other campers were.
Everyone was so fucking loud after finding that clearing. The fuckers were lucky I was shit-ass tired and passed out despite their yapping.
Even though the path was pretty clear, Kirishima still took a hold of your wrist.
The next day, we went back to the clearing with all of our things, explored a bit, found some cool climbing spots and a cliff to scale when we were feeling up to it. It's not an amazing spot and doesn't even really have any great views, but the whole area is beautiful, and it's what we needed.
Plus, with more trees around, it wasn't as fucking freezing. It's going to get real cold this week. Fucking weather. Winter's supposed to be almost over.
He really doesn't like the cold, huh? Kirishima smirked at you and shook his head.
Yeah, it's cause his quirk doesn't work as well when he's cold.
Oh?
Stop telling the rabbit dog about me!
Bakugo turned to bark at the two of you. He was practically growling, and his hair even seemed to poof up. Ironic that he was the one looking more like a rabid dog. Kirishima must have been thinking the same thing, because both of you started to chuckle.
Oi! Stop laughing! Shitheads!
With the story over, it became silent again. You started looking around, trying to wrap your head around the fact that you were still technically in the middle of a city, despite the foliage surrounding you. To the right, you could catch glimpses of Mount Fuji between the branches, making you slow down again to take it all in.
Yo, mutt, hurry the fuck up! Can't you keep up?
I can keep up just fine. I was just looking around. You rolled your eyes so hard it almost hurt. Bakugo glared down at you, challengingly.
Yeah, right. We probably won't be there till sundown, thanks to your slow ass.
Fine. I'll match your pace the whole way. The two of you sped walked beside each other, walking faster each time the other was a step ahead. It didn't matter that you didn't know where you were going, you just wanted to be one step in front of him. By the time all of you reached the clearing, the two of you were panting and plopped onto the ground. Kirishima nonchalantly walked over, setting down the bags, and looked at his watch.
Wow, we got here 30 minutes earlier. I didn't know that you were so competitive.
Still panting, you held up your fist. I got here first.
Fuck you. I did.
Bakugo was equally out of breath.
Okay, well, maybe you guys can settle this debate as you set up the tents while I get some firewood.
You sat up to watch Kirishima walk into the woods, and then looked at your pack a couple of feet away. I bet I can set my tent up faster than you.
Fuck you. Anything you can do, I can do better.
Bakugo glared at you as he stood up. You giggled as you followed him to the bags, pulling items out. Are we going to sing now? It took him a moment to understand the joke before he aggressively pulled out a tarp.
Shut up.
This was how the next few days went. The boys showed you their favorite spots, hiking around, and having mini competitions with Bakugo. Today they were showing you the cliff overlooking the lake with a fantastic view of Mount Fuji.
If we can't go somewhere else further away, we would just come here during the summer. We would free climb up and then dive off after.
You walked over to the edge, looking down. This was much higher than any building you've ever jumped. Wow. This is pretty high.
What? Is the heroic firefighter scared of jumping off a cliff?
Bakugo teased as he came over, looking down at you with his arms crossed. You puffed out your cheeks at him. Every chance he got to tease you, he took it. What a bully. Why not do it now? And every chance you got to challenge him, you took. Bakugo frowned, his nose scrunched up in disgust.
Are you kidding? It's fucking cold.
Oh, I see. The big bad hero can't handle the cold? I take ice baths all the time. You teased him right back. This guy really hated the cold. He'd even brought 2 electric blankets along with his fancy thermal sleeping bag.
Fuck you. If I wanted to, I'd do it. I would.
Bakugo poked you in the chest and made a gesture to the cliff. You smirked at him, calling his bluff, and taking off your jacket. I will if you will. Bakugo followed your lead and took his off too.
Guys?
Kirishima tried to get between the both of you, but you were deaf to his voice of reason.
Duh. Ladies first.
Bakugo bowed to you as you kicked off your boots. You yanked off your shirt and tossed it, smacking Kirishima in the face with it.
Traveler?
With your pants off and now only wearing your underwear, you gave Bakugo a smug look. Don't chicken out at the last second, Ground Zero. And you took off running.
Traveler!
Kirishima ran to the cliff edge, leaning over just in time to see you splash into the water.
Huh? Oh, I like 'em.
Kirishima looked up in time to see Bakugo, dressed down to his boxers, jumping as well. He showed off a little using his quirk to push himself further and do a flip.
Bakugo!
Kirishima smacked his forehead, questioning his choice in friends. Okay, so you let Bakugo bait you. But scaring the shit out of him by looking like a zombie was totally worth it. Kirishima slid down the wall of the cliff using his quirk like he had at the fire, carrying all the discarded clothes and boots, and then helped the 2 of you get back to camp. All 3 of you now sat around the bonfire after finishing dinner. Bakugo was wrapped in his electric blanket, sleeping on the ground by the fire. He looked like a little blue burrito. You were sitting with your Red Riot blanket wrapped around you. Sleeping without it felt wrong, so you had to bring it. You didn't care about the possible judgment.
You still look a little blue. Will you be alright?
You looked over to see Kirishima poking at the fire with a stick, moving logs around. Oh, yeah, I should be fine. I didn't think to bring my fireproof clothes, or else I would have just sat in the fire to even my body back out faster. You tightened the blanket around you, trying to keep the cold out. Kirishima cleared his throat a few times before coming in closer.
I could,
He opened his arms, motioning you over to sit in front of him. Oh.
Is this okay?
Yes. You swallowed as you opened the blanket, wrapping it around him, and then sitting between his legs. His arms encircled your waist, pulling you against his chest. Please don't feel how fast my heart is beating, you prayed. After a mild panic attack, you began to relax and even leaned against him as you felt yourself warming up. You looked up at the sky, seeing all the stars that could never be seen back home. I'm glad I came.
Yeah?
Kirishima leaned forward, resting his chin on your shoulder. Was he doing this on purpose? Your heart had just calmed down. You tried to swallow around the dryness in your mouth, hoping your voice didn't sound as nervous as you felt. It was actually a lot of fun. I'm kinda sad that tomorrow is our last day.
Maybe you can come during the summer. I could also try to convince Bakugo to let the rest of the squad come too.
A shiver went down your back with his voice so close. He must have thought that you were still cold because his arms tightened around you. Discreetly taking a few deep, calming breaths, you tried to continue the conversation. Maybe we can go to Mount Fuji? Have you guys hiked it?
You know, even though we've been coming to this camping site for years, we never did. I know Bakugo did with his dad once, though.
You didn't know what to say next. You opened your mouth to say something. Anything. But Bakugo let out a loud snore. You giggled watching as the blue burrito rolled over. Only small tufts of his blonde hair could be seen.
If you want, we could go. Just us. Since Bakugo's gone already.
You turned your head to look at Kirishima. He was biting his lower lip and looked unsure, like he was expecting you to say no. Like you could say no to him. Okay, sounds fun. A large happy smile spread across his face as soon as you said okay. God, you loved that dangerous smile.
Really?
Bakugo grunted at the sudden loudness and you shushed Kirishima, who just gave you a sheepish grin before you turned back to the fire. You took a deep breath, leaning into him with your entire body weight, and started to gently stroke his arms. You'd go anywhere if he asked you. Goes to show how hard you had truly fallen for him. Yeah, anything with you is fun. The two of you sat there in comfortable silence, watching the fire slowly die and sharing each other's warmth. You were disappointed when you had to return to your tent alone, without his arms to wrap around you. You were even more disappointed and lonely when you returned home, laying in your bed that felt strangely cold. You already missed him. You buried yourself in bed as you groaned. How in love you were with Kirishima was really sinking in now that he wasn't beside you.
How the fuck have you never seen any All Might movie?
Bakugo shouted at you from your kitchen. Kirishima snickered as you rolled your eyes at Bakugo. The camping trip had been a great idea. By the time you guys returned, the media had died down, and Bakugo and yourself even seemed to be becoming friends. Kirishima sat at the table watching the two of you cook together, since Bakugo had said no more junk food for the rest of the week. He may have caught Kirishima eating fast food every day for lunch this week and convinced you that the two of you needed to cook a healthy meal instead of ordering in. Kirishima decided to wander towards the couch since he'd sat through the same lecture about how great All Might movies were. If Midoriya and Bakugo could just get past their whole rivalry thing, they'd realize they have so much more in common than they realized, such as being nerdy fanboys. Kirishima snickered to himself, imagining Bakugo's reaction to being called a fanboy. He was looking at all the figures that you had of him, remembering when each one had gone on the market. When he found some Ground Zero figures. Huh? There weren't nearly as many as the Red Riot figures, but there was enough Ground Zero that it was noticeable. Kirishima looked around and realized there were two new posters as well. One with Ground Zero written on it, and another of Bakugo in his hero costume. Were they signed? There were pillows on the couch that looked like Bakugo's gauntlets. Kirishima picked them up curiously. When did you get all this stuff? Aren't those cute? Kirishima jumped when you came over to him, taking the pillow from him and the other still on the couch. You slipped the pillows on your arms and it looked like you were wearing mini versions of Bakugo's grenades. I love these so much! I always end up hugging one in my sleep. They're so soft.
If you sleep with them, then why are they on your couch?
Bakugo came over and started pinching your cheek.
You were sleeping on your couch again, weren't you? I told you to go to fucking bed. This is why your back hurts, idiot.
I told you sometimes. I'm just too tired. It's not like it happens. Ow, 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 Bakugo, ow! Bakugo started pulling on both your cheeks while you were talking.
Sometimes my ass. I came over 3 times and you were out cold on the couch. Take better care of yourself. I already got too many idiots to watch over. This one being the biggest one since he's shit at cooking.
Kirishima swallowed, watching you two interact. He's never seen Bakugo get this comfortable with someone so fast.
You two hang out?
Bakugo let go of your cheeks, and you began to rub them, pouting at him. Unfortunately. Apparently I picked up a stray on that camping trip.
Fucking excuse me? You're the one who bit me like a rabbit mutt. Huh.
To Kirishima's surprise, Bakugo was smiling as he messed with your hair. He didn't know what to do, or how to take in this information. One thing was for sure though, it wasn't settling well with him. After dinner, the 3 of you watched the All Might movie that Bakugo had been raving about. You fell asleep sometime in the middle of the movie. Bakugo moved down to the floor to let you lay down, your feet now across Kirishima's lap. Glancing at you, he saw that you were hugging one of the grenades and using the other as a pillow. Kirishima pulled the blanket off the back of the couch and draped it over you. The familiar blanket made him smile. It was his merch and one of your favorites, the same one you'd brought camping with you.
They're not bad.
Bakugo spoke up, still watching the movie.
Yeah? Huh. I guess I could get used to them being around.
Earlier today, hearing Bakugo say that would have made him really happy. But right now, it made him uncomfortable and caused him to grimace.